Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me if you happen to bump into this little video that I'm doing here. This is an update on the coronavirus, especially from the point of view of Britain. And I'll just start off by saying EM EFFING GEEE. Oh my God, they've upped the ante since I actually spoke earlier on. Now, first of all, I've seen... you see, the thing is that it's probably the same where you are, wherever in the world. If they've got anything, if the government are going to do anything, you can guarantee that they're going to leak what they're going to actually talk about. So on Tuesday, apparently, the government have got this meeting, and they're going to, and the point is that it's already been leaked that, first of all, they want all 70 years old and above people to self-quarantine for 4 months. That's 4 months. Old people of 70, they want to self-quarantine for 4 months, right? Now, first of all, I'm questioning, how the fuck are they supposed to look after themselves? Because at the moment, the government is saying that if you're self-quarantining, that members of your family have got to come and leave you, like, food on the doorstep, right? Now, that's all very well and good if you've got family, but quite a lot of the old people in our country haven't got any family at all. So how the hell are they supposed to look after themselves? See, it's all very well and good, the government saying 70-year-olds should stay indoors for 4 months. But how the fuck are they going to look after themselves? You know, they've already got existing ailments and complaints and conditions, and now the government wants them all to stay indoors for 4 months. And so I'm questioning, one, how on earth these poor old people are supposed to be looking after themselves. The second thing I want to come to is the fact that within this that they're supposedly discussing on Tuesday, but they've already pretty much decided, the police are going to be given new sweeping authority to arrest and actually put into prison anybody that's got the coronavirus that refuses to self-quarantine. Now, that all sounds all right on the, to anybody, that doesn't really think too deeply into this stuff. What you have to first of all realise is, how the fuck are they going to police that? We haven't got enough police on the streets to do the actual policing for crime. So what's going to happen? Are you going to, if you've got the coronavirus and you're actually on one of the official statistics, how are they going to police the fact that you stay in? If you choose not to tell anybody you've got it, you're wandering about, aren't you? If you choose not to tell anybody, how on earth are the police, what are they going to do? Like, in your hometown, are the police going to get a list of everybody that's been stated as having coronavirus, and then everybody, all those houses are going to be watched to ensure that they're not going out anywhere? I don't get how they're going to police that. That doesn't make any sense at all. How can they police it? What is that for? Scaremongering? So this is what they're going to come. This is what they're coming out with now. The fact that over 70s are going to have to stay quarantined for 4 months, and the fact that the police are going to be given sweeping powers to arrest anybody that is found to be having who is confirmed coronavirus, who refuses to self-quarantine. But how they're actually going to police that, I don't know. Then we go on to the fact that private healthcare have already pledged 8,000 beds for 4 months at a cost of 2.4 million per day. Now, that's only for 4 months. That's like, I'm not very good at maths, but that's billions. Billions, isn't it? Sorry, not billions, millions. Like hundreds of millions is what I'm trying to say. About 200 million, I think it is. And that's just for private. So straight away, they're already going to be making money. The private health systems already, they're giving it, yeah, we'll help. And they actually, the NHS have called it renting the beds. Renting the beds at a massively inflated cost. So we've got the cost thing as well, and I don't really understand that. But then we move on to the next point. And believe me, I'm sorry I'm talking really quickly because I've got limited time on a video. We come to the next point, and that is that I've just read a report that says that they're expecting 80% of the British public to get the coronavirus, of which 7 million people, they expect at least 7 million people to be hospitalised, of which, even if it's only 1% apparently, 1% of that population that die, that means 500,000 British people are going to die of the coronavirus, according to the government. This is what they're projecting. Now, they're saying that they're expecting all this to happen over the next year, okay? So over the next year, the coronavirus is going to infect 80% of the British public. 7 million people will be hospitalised, out of which of that, at least 500,000 people are going to die of the coronavirus, according to the government. Now, first of all, how can they even begin to say any of that? Because at the moment, we've got very, very, very tiny numbers, and people are already, you know, they're already exaggerating the situation. They're not, put it this way, they're not stopping you going to the supermarket, they're not stopping you going to clubs, they're not stopping you going into the town centre, they're not stopping the schools, they're not stopping any of these things at the moment. They're just saying that if you feel a bit unwell, self-quarantine. So how are they going to, how can they say that in the next year they expect this amount of people? I don't understand how they can come to that conclusion. I mean, we've moved on to the second stage. We can't contain it anymore. We've moved on to the second stage, and that is hardly anybody's got it. Hardly anybody's got it at the moment, but they're still not in Britain. They're still not doing it. I mean, they're worried, apparently. They say that they're worried about the economy is the reason why they're not stopping anything. But the fact that it worries me, because they're already giving police extra powers, it's worrying me about what's going to come next. And all this, and also in 3 weeks' time, they've also said in 3 weeks' time they'll have the they'll have the army to help with stocking shelves and things. So why are they? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up what they say 1 minute to what they say the next. So if it's going to go on for a year, why the fuck do they want old people to just stay in for 4 months of that? Why? These are the things that we have to question. And I'm questioning all of that. All of that. It really, to me, just does not make sense. It does not make sense. None of it that they're saying makes any sense. And at the moment, they just seem to be grabbing numbers out of nowhere, because there's nothing at the moment to correlate those numbers. So, oh my God, talk about ramping up the fear. And on ramping up the fear, I mean, I will tell you now, I don't actually have a TV where I live. I don't have one, don't want to watch it. But a friend of mine came round earlier on and she said that, believe me, the British media, British TV is wall to wall, nothing but coronavirus. Now, for ages, we've had nothing but bloody Brexit. And suddenly now, we've got nothing but coronavirus. And believe me, if the mainstream media are pushing something that much, you question that fucker. And question all the things that I've just said. All the things that I've just said. They want over the 70s to stay in for 4 months with no talking about how they're actually going to be looked after. But it's only 4 months when the actual government think it's going to go on for a year. They think that 80% of us are going to get it. They think that 7 million of us are going to be hospitalised, and they think 500,000 of us are going to die. So why the fuck are old people only got to stay in for 4 months? How? I want to know how they've come out with these numbers. Question everything, people. Question every fucking thing. None of that makes sense to me whatsoever. How have they even come up with what's going to happen in a year? How? How can they even begin to say 80% of us? How? Makes me worry about what comes next. How are they going to police the keeping people quarantined? Are they going to make what comes next? Are we all going to be quarantined for 4 months? What happens next? What bollocks are they're going to come out with next, under very, very tiny amounts of people having this actual, what is essentially the same thing that happens every year? You can kill the coronavirus. It's on the back of spray bottles, Dettol or something, that says 99.9% of kills bacteria. Coronavirus is on that. It's like the flu. It's just like any other flu. If you're vulnerable, you may die of it. and how they can be projecting those vast amounts of people on this small amount, this small number, is beyond me. So that's my thoughts on this update of what's going to be happening next in Britain. In the meantime, people are still wandering around in the streets like nothing's happening. You know, so they're scaremongering on one hand and not doing anything about it on the other. And so it doesn't add up to me. But believe me, you know, they can't be. Think about what they're actually saying instead of just taking it all on board. Because, like I said, if the mainstream media are pushing something that much, question fucking why. And if the government basically are just bringing in sweeping things about what police are going to be able to police whether you are out of your house or not when you've got the coronavirus, when you're positive for it. How? It's utter bollocks. I cannot believe what's going on. Well, I can, because it all sounds like the beginning, the start. The start to me. It all sounds like the start of a bigger agenda. So let's see how it pans out, and I'm sure we'll be having many more discussions about it. But it all still sounds like utter bollocks to me. And EM EFFING GEEE. What's that bollocks that they've just come out with? Anyway, till next time. Whatever that brings.